How do you do, everybody? Mike Mills with Mike Mills Mortgage and Finance here. This is the Texas Real Estate and Podcast. This is episode number 54, so really making our way down here. But today we are going to be talking, as I have on my shirt, a little video today. This is the old school video. We're going to new school video, and especially in our real estate market and the kind of the lull we're going through at this time. Everybody's looking for new ways to innovate their business, how to grow your business, how to reach more people, how to get in front of more eyeballs. And, if you don't know that video is the route to go at this point, then you probably haven't been paying attention. But just to reiterate that point and kind of give you some idea on what the best route to use and what platforms to use and how to structure your videos, I brought in Ben Treadway. So welcome in, Ben. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How's it going, Mike? Thanks for having me on.
So Ben is the head of sales for Social Coach. And so I don't tear it all up and butcher what you've already told me before we got on here. Why don't you explain to everybody what Social Coach is, what you guys do specifically, so we kind of have a little bit idea of what we're going to be chatting about, and then we'll just kind of move from there.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on once again. Social Coach is a social media management for companies that want to help their loan officers or their realtors have a strong social media presence online. We help to automate social media. So if you have older realtors that aren't posting all that often, and you want to have a company presence online, you can do it through the fingers of your organization. So working through the individuals, posting good educational content, posting company content, trying to help them out so we can help automate there. We also really want to help loan officers, really want to help realtors. We work a lot with only in the real estate industry. So like realtors and loan officers. So that's all I'm talking about. We help them to build video. We help them to build custom content. Really, the goal is to increase social media presence, whether that be through video, whether that be through static images. Really, it's how do we embrace social media for the tool that it is, and engage with the folks that are on my page right now, and how do I grow my audience to really have a strong business online.
And you guys are very niche. So you are working in one particular market or area, real estate and our world is pretty much all you're doing. And that's where you guys kind of live and breathe, right?
Yeah. We don't really dabble with, other companies, other industries. We are solely focused and have been our entire careers. The whole company has been in the mortgage and real estate industry our entire lives. Or my young career and some of the older careers, we only work with real estate companies and mortgage companies with social media.
And you guys especially focus on the individuals, like you said, because you've said this for a long time in our business. Whenever we talk internally within our company about what the best route to go on advertising or promotion, and it's funny, and I don't think it's germane to our industry, but I do think because of real estate being such a personal transaction that, instead of like my company is Verity Mortgage, Eustace Mortgage is our parent company, but our focus when we try to promote, or drive marketing within our company is very much geared towards the individual loan officer. Because if someone is going to get a loan, they're not getting a loan from Eustace or Verity Mortgage. They're getting a loan from Mike Mills. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And same thing in real estate. I think with realtors, the Keller Williams and the Remax and the Century 21s of the world, like these big box brokerages, it's not that it's bad to be a part of those, because it absolutely is. They have great training. They have all kinds of perks and stuff that come along with it. But typically, if I'm a buyer of a home, I'm generally reaching out to somebody, via a warm lead from a friend or somebody else. I'm not calling Century 21 to get a realtor, in most cases. I mean, it happens, of course, but it's just not typical, because it's a personal transaction. You want one-on-one relationships, and that's how it grows.
Yeah. I mean, I recently bought a home in February. Uh-huh. And for me, I didn't even I called I had a realtor friend. He was a friend of mine. Yeah. I used him as my realtor. And I knew his group was the Sonoran Provision Group or something like that. I didn't realize he was actually part of a larger real estate company, like a Century 21, until like two months after the fact, I got an email from his company, and underneath it said like Century 21 or something like that.
Right.
So like
Right.
I did not call up Century 21. I need a realtor. Like
Yes.
it's a completely opposite kind of transaction, because when you need a plumber to come out, you call the plumbing company and they
Yes.
send out a plumber. You don't have a plumber buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, some people, well,
Some
especially in
people
our world,
do.
do, but yes, no, I know the general consumer,
Yeah.
unless you know somebody that's a plumber, they're calling Roto Rooter or whoever.
Yeah. And so like my loan officer, the one that I used, came as a referral from my realtor.
Yep.
Right.
That's how
They said, hey, like I work with this guy, and Orion Finance or something like that. I don't even know his company name. Like that. That's how little I dealt with the company.
Right.
I
You knew
dealt
his
with
name,
him.
but not the company.
Right. Yeah. So like it was Brian Yampolsky over at Orion something. Right. And so like for me, I dealt, and this is how it is for every home buyer. You deal with the person, you don't deal with the company.
Yes.
And the majority of the time, you're not even looking at the marketing of the company either. Right. It's not like I didn't see a commercial for, I mean, let's be honest. No one looks at a commercial for Rocket Mortgage and says, all right, time to go to Rocket Mortgage and get a loan. They start to search online.
Yep.
Hey, I need like loan officer near me, mortgage questions, or how do I buy a home? And all these, everyone is going to pop up online. And more, the younger and younger the home buyers get, we call it right now, millennials are the home buyers. Yep. Gen Z are right behind. They're starting on social media. They're starting with TikTok. How do I buy a home?
I was going to say, they're not even starting with Google. They don't even go to Google.
No, because
I don't know what Google is.
Because as we're about to talk about, video is the best and fastest way to get a message across.
Yeah.
And so if I'm trying to learn about buying a home, I'd rather watch a 45-second video on like top 3 things to know before you start buying a home. And that's how I'm going to really like learn how to buy a home. Now, I'm fortunate enough to work in the industry. I know I have my connections, so I didn't have to go to TikTok, but I still did. My wife is on TikTok all day, really all day. She's on TikTok, man. Every night. So I look at TikTok at night.
Yep.
Right. And every night I have 17 messages, and it's all from my wife, and it's all videos that she liked. And she's like, we should do this. We should do that.
You got to see that.
And it's just like crazy. And I'm like, you know what? If you're trying to get a younger home buyer, if you're trying to talk with people that are buying homes the average age right now, I think is 35 home buyers. They're all on social media.
Yes. Yeah. That's where the
best way to get them is videos.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. And I don't, there's this, whether you want to call it a funnel or however you want to phrase this, but somebody, let's say 40 and under. Okay. Cause like I was telling you earlier, I don't spend a ton of time on social media as far as like interacting unless it's for a purpose, except I use Twitter, but I do use TikTok because I found myself gravitating more and more to TikTok when I'm looking for something specific, because people make so many, you can fly through a few videos real quick as opposed to going to a Google search and having to click on an article. Now it is changing a little bit because now with the advent of AI, a lot of these search engines, if you type in a particular question, the very first pop-up will be an answer to your question specifically. You know what I mean? And then there'll be links below it. So it's changing a little bit, but for the most part, I can scroll through 15 or 20 videos on TikTok. And then what happens is if I'm looking for something in particular, like let's say, for example, I don't have a garden, but I'm fascinated by gardening. I want to know how to grow tomatoes because it's like one day I'm going to start gardening. Right. And so like I go through that stuff. Well, if I find a 30-second or 2-minute video on tomato plants, let's say, right. Well, at that point, if there's something in that I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Well, now I may go to YouTube from that video and say, now I'll type that search into YouTube because now I'm ready to take on the 3 or 4-minute video or 5-minute video or 7-minute video versus the 30-second, 45-second is like a little taste of the information I'm looking for, but isn't in enough depth to really cover it. And in some cases, you can still stay on TikTok and you can just look up that one thing and then there'll be, 50 videos on that. It's just amazing it's like you can come up with any topic and you can search it and it's on TikTok. Like, I don't know that you
Yeah.
can miss things for some reason.
I'll take it one step further. When I scroll through TikTok at night,
Yep.
when I get finished with all the comments and all the messages my wife has sent me,
Right.
I start to go on my For You page. And what I do, and I know it's the same for my brothers, it's the same for my friends, is I scroll through and I'm not looking for anything specifically. You're just watching the videos. Once I see something I enjoy, rather than searching that thing, I actually look at the person.
Yes.
I click on their profile and I see the rest of the content that they put out, right?
Yep.
Because for me, I would rather follow someone who puts out good content than follow the topic of their content, right? Because I'm big into hunting, I'm big into sports, I'm big into golfing, right? And so for me, my Instagram and my TikTok, like all the people I'm following have something to do with hunting. Now they're putting out other content as well, right? And I like that content as well. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that I really like how to drop pavers down and landscape my yard.
Yeah.
But because I'm following a guy who's a golfer and he posts good golfing content, and then he was talking about like how to like do his yard with pavers and add a putting green in the backyard. Now it's like, I'm going to add a putting green in my backyard. And that's not a joke. I'm actually adding a putting green in my backyard. We're doing it. We're doing it this summer. So like, that's one of those things that it stemmed from a video that I saw on social media, not even about redoing his backyard, but about, I think he had like a par 4 hole-in-one, which is crazy. Right.
Yeah.
And like the reaction video of that. And then it just like led 6 months later, he's talking about adding a putting green in his backyard. And now I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that too.
Well, and the thing about TikTok too is or even now, I mean, you could say Instagram Reels, you could say Facebook Reels, you could even say YouTube Shorts, because it's all this short form content that really is it's kind of like the browsing of the world, right? And that's how you browse these days. So they just show up saying, oh, this is, funny. And sometimes if you're looking for something specific, it'll be there. But what happens subconsciously, I think, is bringing it back to real estate, is that if I'm in the market to buy a house, right? If I'm thinking about it, if I've considered it at any point in the last week, month, day, whatever, then if I'm on social media and I'm flipping through shorts and reels and TikToks and something about properties comes up, interest rates, mortgages, real estate, neighborhoods, whatever, odds are I'm going to stop on that video and I'm going to watch it for a second, right? I'm going to look at it. Well, because they're so intrusive in our life, they know. The algorithm knows you've watched that video for longer than the average person. So you must be interested in that topic. So out of the next 20 or 30 videos you see, I promise you half of them are going to be related to real estate, mortgages, whatever it is that is on your mind. So it's almost like that seed is there and it's been planted, but now it's starting to grow because you're getting more and more information about a topic that you were interested in, but you weren't necessarily searching for it, just because it pulls from so many other things too. If you've been on Zillow in the last 2 months, I promise you're going to get stuff related to real estate and mortgages on your social feeds. And so that's why, anybody that doesn't understand it, and I said it in the very beginning about, if you don't understand the importance of video at this point, if we're this far in the game and you're like, it's waste of time. It's like, I don't know what it takes to help you understand the importance of it. It's just something that because, and we said this in the beginning, because our industry, or my industry, and mortgages and real estate right now, at least, is on, kind of leans toward the older age as far as like the professionals involved in the business. It seems like the adoption rate has been so much slower than what you see in other industries. And I guess that's the only reason why I can think of.
I think I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I work with older realtors and older loan officers, and they want to do video.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
The problem is the barrier to entry is so low. They feel like they're not doing enough. Right. You can pick up your phone, record a video talking about whatever, and post it within 30 seconds.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the issue. You have a lot of the younger crew, my age, 30, right? Loan officers, real estate agents that are coming in, and they have such high quality videos.
Yes.
that the older loan officers, the older realtors are like, I can't create a video that looks like that.
Right.
And so they record a video, they watch it back, and they're like, I don't like what I look like. I don't like what I sound like.
Yep.
And I don't have all the fun GIFs and the captions and the audio and everything. And so I'm not even going to post it because it's not worth anyone else's time. Right. Well, the problem with that is it is worth their time.
Sure.
Because I would rather listen. It's funny. I had a big problem with like a leak in my backyard just this past week. And for me, I looked for the plumber that had the most experience, not the plumber with the best looking video.
Yes.
And so realtors that have been in the game for 30 years have more experience, more knowledge, can help me more than the one that has a really cool video. Now, all you have to do is talk about what you know.
Yeah.
And post it so that people can see it. If you never post it, they'll never know that you have more knowledge, more know-how. You've been in every single situation you could possibly think of, right? You've worked with buyers that don't have any money. You've had worked with buyers that have all the money, right? And I won't know that unless I see it on a video or if I see it on social media. And so for the realtors that are afraid to post, or for the realtors that are like, I've been in the game for 30 years. I don't need video. No, you might not need video. Your buyers need to see you on video so that they know who to go to.
Yeah. Well, and I think the hard part is it's a matter of perspective in that regard, because even the young people, the 30-year-olds, 25-year-olds, whatever, right? If you had the ability, in some cases you do, but a lot of cases you don't, because people are getting smarter these days, deleting stuff, whatever. But if you were able to go back to see the 25-year-old or 28-year-old's very first TikTok or very first, Instagram reel or whatever, it's going to suck too. Like it's not good, right? It's not a good high quality, whatever. No. It's something that you figure out as you go along. And I've even told agents in the past, because we try to help them, focus on the importance of using social media to grow their business. And I'm like, when you sold your very first house, did you know what you were doing? Like, were you perfect at it? And they're like, no, of course not. It was, it was like a deer in headlights. I'm like, well, it's the same thing, but now you've sold 100, 200, 300 homes, whatever the number is. And so now, because you've sold what you've sold, a lot about it. Well, if you make videos on a regularly consistent basis, it could be once a week, it could be once a month, it could be whatever you feel comfortable with in the beginning. As you start to understand it a little bit better, it starts to make the fear of the unknown gets pulled away. Then it's really not bad. And I'm with you. Like I have found in all aspects, whether it be finance, like I like a lot of crypto stuff. I'm into, a lot of finance stuff, obviously, because of what I do. I tend to gravitate to the more boring videos. And the person that I feel after watching a couple, I'm like, this person knows what they're talking about. And I can get that sense from them. I don't need captions. I don't there's one guy that I watch who does a lot of finance stuff on the market. And I actually use, when I do updates on my stuff, I'll steal from what he's saying. I'm like, okay, this is good. I'm going to use this. Yeah. He literally is in a white shirt every single time with a tie. Tie changes colors. Okay.
That's good.
The background is a taupe, tan, white wall. That's it. There's nothing in the background. He's literally reading. He's got like notes in front of him that he changes the page over, and he'll say, now he talks like he doesn't just read, like it's like bullet points or whatever. But he'll say some stuff, and then he'll be like, and if you think I'm crazy, fine, whatever. I'm just telling you what I think. Like he's just real kind of defeated by the whole thing. But I watch every single video that guy does because his content is so good, because he knows what he's talking about. And there's no music, there's no captions, there's no hook on the intro. Half of them end where he's like, okay, that's it. And it's just over. Like that's it. And the guy has, 1 million subscribers. He has a Patreon page that people pay to go to. And it's the most mundane. If I got you to watch one, you'd be like, I don't understand. But then after you've watched about the 4th or 5th one, you're like, okay, I get it.
What's his name? Do you know off the top of the bat?
It's called Real Clear Tax. I can't remember his name specifically.
But his page is Real Clear Tax.
Yeah, it's a YouTube page. He has other sites that he follows as well, but I'm sorry, clear value tax is what it's called.
Clear value tax.
Clear
Cool.
value tax. Yes.
Give him a shout out there. I think for what you're saying is true. The captions, the GIFs, the audio, it doesn't matter. It helps.
I mean, it helps.
It helps a lot.
Yes.
And so I think that that's something that we had a lot of our clients at Social Coach asking, hey, like, how do I do video? Like, all I see are these like poppy captions, the GIFs, all that good stuff. How do I do video? And I guess kind of a plug for Social Coach, we created what's called Video Catalyst, where someone can sign up and all they have to do is record the video and we do the rest for them. Mm-hmm. Right. We provide them with scripts, so they don't even have to know what to say.
Right.
The script helps them to kind of springboard into their own conversational topic. Right. But they record a 45-second video, send it back to the Social Coach production team, mm-hmm. and we do everything else for them, even the posting. Oh, so wow. For realtors that are wanting to dive into video, for loan officers that are wanting to dive into video, Social Coach provides multiple videos a month and provides all the production, provides all the editing, provides all the animation. And all you have to do is hit record, mm-hmm. talk for 30 seconds and hit stop and send it to us. And we take care of everything.
Yeah.
And what that's done is it's opened up the ability to, like you're saying, the captions don't really, they aren't necessary, but they help.
Yes.
And so for someone who doesn't know how to do that, but does want to get into video, we've just wanted to provide an affordable option for them to be able to dive into that and take advantage of the tools and take advantage of video right in front of them.
Well, I've come across very few people that I can't think of anybody right now, but that weren't into video, like for whatever reason, they didn't want to do it or hadn't started it. And then something changed and they started making some videos, right? Mm-hmm. Really simple stuff, nothing crazy, just 30-second here. Like I've seen a few that they're just like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I sell real estate or I do mortgages. I love my friends and family. If you ever need anything, call me, whatever. Mm-hmm. Just basic stuff. And what ends up happening is this positive feedback loop occurs because they post something out there, their friends and family see it, right? And they may not, I don't think a lot of people are, I think the younger generation understands this, but I think older generation doesn't, is that the likes and the comments don't necessarily reflect, even the views don't necessarily reflect the impact that it's having, mm-hmm. because people still see it. And I experience this with the stuff that I do, where somebody that I very rarely see or talk to, I'll run into at the store or at a kid's game or whatever. And they're like, hey, I saw that thing yesterday. That was hilarious. Or, I didn't know that, mm-hmm. whatever. And I had no idea that they were even watching. Not a clue. And I think that, what starts to happen is when you start making videos, people that you just run into on a day-to-day basis will say, hey, I saw your video. That was great. I'm glad you did. Nobody's ever said, what the hell are you doing? That was stupid. Why'd you make that? You sounded like a fool. You look like an idiot. Like nobody's saying that. The people that see it are nothing but supportive, right? This isn't this whole idea of internet trolls. Like I've had a couple, as soon as videos start getting a little bit bigger, like, when I get to the ones that have 30 or 40,000 views, somebody told me, why would they take advice from some old ass boomer one day? And I was like, first off, I'm not a boomer. But anyway, so, I mean, it does happen, but it's rare. And it doesn't really happen until you get to a level that we're not even trying to get to, because I think what you guys are trying to show people, and what I strongly believe in too, is that the video marketing thing isn't about going viral. Okay. It's not about trying to become the next internet sensation. It is about staying in front of all of your friends and family that you're friends with on social media that already know you. It's just reaching your sphere on a more consistent basis than you're doing by dropping a flyer in the mail or by, going to lunch with your friends every once in a while. Not that those things don't have their own benefit too, but being in front of people on a consistent basis, especially when you're in the business of selling yourself, whether that be a business that you run or you're a realtor or a lender or whatever, that's the goal, is to stay in front of as many people as often as you can that could one day use your product or service, right?
Absolutely. And I think what we forget about consistency is that you have to be consistent, right? Yeah. You could be like, I post every week. Okay. You post every week, but are you posting on Tuesday one day and Thursday the next day and then Friday the next week? Like all these consistency begins with, okay, I'm going to post every Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right. If you're so sporadic with your consistent posting, the algorithm can't learn what you're trying to do. Right.
Yeah.
And so we tell our clients, it should be written on your calendar. Wednesday at 9:30, I'm posting a video.
Yeah.
And do it every Wednesday at 9:30. After a couple of weeks, you'll start to see those numbers rise.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm has learned, oh, Instagram Reel is coming out from Mike Mills every Wednesday at 9:30. Let me push it. Let me push it. Let me push it. Right. And so the more consistent you are, not just in posting, but the time and the day that you post, that is where we're going to see a lot of results. I get the question like, hey, when should I post? What's the best, like most optimal time that you should post? And I say the same time every week. It doesn't matter what time it is, the same time every week.
Okay.
So if you're posting, if you've decided I'm going to post Monday morning, I want to be like Monday morning motivation.
Right.
Well, don't post Monday morning motivation on Wednesday. Like do it Monday morning, right? And you'll start to see more results. So we have clients that go, hey, I'm going to post every Friday. I want to do a Friday reel every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Do it around the similar time.
Right.
Don't start jumping around with your times that you're posting, because the system is every platform, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, all of them. They're built to learn when you're posting and when you're on social media, right? Everyone's posting videos, but it's funny. You start picking up videos that were posted 3 days ago. But the reason why is you were not live when that video came out. They want you to see that. So they learn, hey, Ben is live on Instagram at 9:30 at night to 10:30 at night, right? Mm-hmm. When he's sitting in bed scrolling, right? Going to bed. And so the videos that I like are going to get pushed to me at that time. It doesn't matter when it's posted. Right. So as a viewer, they're learning when you're on. And they're also learning, all these platforms are also learning when you're posting.
Okay.
So that's the consistency there.
So I didn't realize that. I guess I've always heard about consistency, of course, but I didn't think about the fact that whatever I decide to post, day, time, whatever, make that the time and day that I post every single time.
Yeah, make it. It can be a range.
Better reach that way is what you're saying.
Yeah, it can be a range, right? A couple hours.
That could be 9:04. It could. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it could be a range, like maybe 2 hours, one up, one down, right?
Yeah.
But the platform it wants to learn its users. Mm-hmm. So when is Mike live on LinkedIn? Right. Okay. Right. He's always going to be live at 12:30 after his lunch break. Right. He's
Thursday, 1 o'clock.
Boom, right.
That's what I'm here.
And the funny thing is, you'll start to see more and more of your stuff come out Thursday at 1 o'clock, or stuff that you like to see gets pushed to you at that time, even if it's posted an hour later or like 3 days before. You see, like down at the bottom, it shows like when it was posted. Mm-hmm. You're seeing videos that are 3 days old coming to you at that Thursday at 1 o'clock, because that's your most live time.
So, all right. So on the topic of like best practices, okay, because again, that's always what people are looking for the most part is, so you're saying number one is be consistent. And I think any person that does anything on social media on a regular basis, if they ask for the number one thing that you should do, I think that would be it. Would you agree? Like, be consistent. You can
just do it. Do it. What I would say is, if you're not doing anything, just start.
Yes. Right.
Right. But as you start to do more and more, make sure it's consistent.
Okay. Yeah. So then let's talk about, and I'm sure this probably varies by platform, and maybe you can get into a little bit more there, but obviously right now everybody's doing reels and TikToks. TikTok kicked all this off by the short form content, because all of our attention spans are terrible these days. Yeah. So is there, I know Facebook and Instagram, because they're owned by Meta, 90 seconds is their length, for both of those on the max that you can do. I think is TikTok up to 3 minutes, 4 minutes now?
Yeah, I think it's 3 minutes now.
Okay. Something like that. And then, YouTube Reels or YouTube Shorts is 1 minute. That hasn't changed. So what have you found, as far as like the most, I don't know, say traction, interaction, but if I'm a realtor, I'm a lender, where do I want to try to target the length of my videos to be able to use across platforms, possibly if you want to get specialized in one particular platform, what are your suggestions with that?
I look inwards on that and I say, how long am I willing to watch a video?
Okay.
Right. And most of the time, your audience are pretty similar to you, right? Like your friends, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, like they're all going to be pretty similar. So like if I'm interested in a video, I'll watch the entire thing.
Yes, me
right?
too.
If I'm trying to find out if I'm interested, I got about 10 seconds.
Right.
Right. I'm willing, and I do this with my shows that I get into. I'm willing to watch the first 3 episodes of a show to determine whether or not I'm going to binge the rest.
Right.
Right. Well, let's drop it down. You have about 3 seconds to grab the attention of someone.
Okay.
If you got the attention of someone, they're willing to watch the rest.
Okay.
Right. I would say target less than 45 seconds on your videos.
Okay.
Most of the time you're seeing videos, especially like educational videos, these like real estate videos, mortgage videos. You don't want to jump over a minute long just because, like, I'll say it, like, mortgages are boring, right?
They are.
Mortgages are boring, right?
I don't talk. Well, it's funny. All my posting that I do, if I post, and I'm consistent. I'm consistently inconsistent in that I'll have, like, this week, I usually post a video every day, or close to every day. And then this week, because we were out of town for the 4th of July, I haven't posted since like Friday.
Yeah.
But what I find is, like, if I talk about mortgage stuff all the time, it falls off real flat. But if I talk about student loan forgiveness, if I talk about the interest rates, as far as like the Fed raising rates and where the economy's headed in certain stocks, and I talk about like UFOs, because it's something that I'm interested in. So that type of stuff I tend to get more traction on. And then I just sprinkle in the mortgage stuff here and there, because really what I'm trying to do is have people find my content engaging to some extent, but then remind them on a semi-regular basis that, I also do mortgages. Yeah.
So I think for any video, you got a couple seconds to grab attention, right?
Yep.
So my kind of advice, and maybe it's the wrong advice for the people I like to watch, they say something controversial at the very beginning.
Sure.
Right?
The hook. You gotta get a hook.
You got the hook, right? If you get them, and like, even I was talking to a loan officer yesterday. He's like, well, what should I say? I'm like, you should say, don't buy a home.
Yeah.
Right. And then explain yourself.
You're like,
don't buy a home. Wait, this guy's a loan officer. What is he talking about? Right.
Yeah.
Or like, you should keep renting. Right.
Yeah.
And like all these different things, like hooks to kind of grab their attention. If you get their attention, like, your best stuff with it should be within the first 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then if you want to explain yourself even more, you have the rest of the time.
Right.
I say like 45 seconds is a good length, because after about 45 seconds, even if I'm super interested, that's when I'm clicking on your profile and like diving into your content.
Yeah.
So you kind of got 3 stages of a video. You got the hook, you got 3 to 5 seconds to grab their attention, even sometimes like 1 second. So like saying something right at the beginning, get their attention. Then you have about 10 to 15 seconds for your best information. If you're talking about tips to buy a home, that should be in the first 15 seconds. I hate people that go, well, I don't hate people, but I dislike the videos that go, wait till the end for the best tip. I'm like, dude, I'm just scrolling to the end. I don't care about the rest. Right. So get your best stuff first, and then explain yourself after. You have the rest of the time, like 45 seconds, another minute, whatever it is. But you'll see that if you have your best stuff within the first 15 seconds, you're going to have a super successful video and your engagement rates go up.
Do you think, or do y'all find as a company that it's a better practice? Because, if, let's say, and I think this, but I don't know, if this is true, but let's just say I use Instagram often, right? Mm-hmm. That's the platform that I'm on. My friends are on. It's where I engage with stuff, whatever. Would your suggestion be to somebody starting out a video, if Instagram's your place, then post all your videos on Instagram and make Instagram be the expert at posting videos on Instagram before you mess with TikTok, before you mess with Facebook, before you mess with any other ones? Or the way that I personally do it is I make a video and I tailor the video depending on editing or whatever, because we're a little bit more advanced in how we do this. I tailor it and I put it on every platform just because for me, the only one that I struggle with sometimes is YouTube Shorts, because it's about a minute. Most of my videos are about a minute and a half. because I'm talking about some news topic or something. But when I post, I try to keep it, but I put it on every platform because I'm just like, I'll be in as many. And sometimes the one on Instagram does great and the one on TikTok does not. And sometimes the one on TikTok does fantastic and the one on Instagram doesn't. And, Facebook is its own little echo chamber in there. But what do you find, is the best practice, especially for someone that's like starting out?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. I think that, well, first and foremost, if you like Instagram, do Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. If you like LinkedIn and you're on LinkedIn all the time, do LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I think you should start, like, if you don't feel comfortable managing 5 platforms,
right,
manage 2, manage 1, right? Get really good at Instagram, because Instagram and Facebook are connected. A lot of your reels will go over, and you'll see that like Facebook is also posting.
You can share them
reels.
cross-platform.
You can share them cross-platform. So if you're like, hey, I'm good at Instagram, cool, do it. Yeah. Here's the problem with doing 5, and you're probably not like this. If you're managing 5 different platforms, 10 different platforms, and you're like posting to everything, great. Here's the problem that you run into. If you don't go check back on your content, people are commenting on your content.
Yeah.
Right. I posted to 5 places, but I only do Instagram. And so if someone responds to my comment on Twitter or responds to my content and I'm not on there to respond back to them,
right,
they aren't gonna comment back. So the way that we say it is like, social media is meant to be social. Social media is meant to be a conversation back and forth between people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just another way to connect. So Mike, if you commented on my page, right, and you were like, hey, love the shirt, where'd you get it?
Yeah.
And I never respond.
Right.
That's like if you and I were talking like this face to face and I say, hey, I love your Blockbuster shirt.
Yeah.
And you just moved on. You're like, what the heck? Why didn't you say anything about what I commented? Like, not even thank you. Like people just
that's what I'm saying.
don't
Just
respond to comments. Yeah. Like people just don't respond to comments. And if you don't respond to comments, why would I ever comment again?
Right.
Right. And so if you don't think that you can manage 5 different platforms, engaging back with the people that are engaging with you, right? One thing with engagement is if someone likes it and you want to talk to that person, DM them, right? If you don't feel like you can do that on 5 platforms, do it on 1, do it on 2, right? And so if you feel overwhelmed with so much, you might as well start with 1, start with 2, and build your way up to it. One of my good buddies, really like top of the line marketing specialist. He actually owns his own company now, Dan Smakoska.
I work for Dan.
So Dan's awesome, right? His advice to me was start with 2 and work your way into 5, right? Yeah. But if you can't handle 2, then why would you even try to do 5?
Yes.
Right. And so he's a huge advocate on start where you are and work your way up to it. You can always add Twitter. You can always add LinkedIn. You can always add these other platforms, but you might as well get really, really good at one because it's a gold mine if you're really good at one.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard to, part of it, I guess, would, depending on which ones you're doing, would be, what are you trying to sell, or what are you trying to educate on? And I hate to even use the word sell because I don't think these days people sell anymore. I think we present information and hope people value the information and then, use us in the future. But like LinkedIn, for example, if you're a realtor, it's not that I guess it depends on, because LinkedIn is somewhat morphing into something different, I think, a little bit more these days, but it used to be, recruiters. I mean, that's what it is for me. Looking for jobs, people talking about industry, business to business, B2B type stuff. Right. Yeah. So if I'm a realtor, I want to sell homes, that probably may not be the best place for me to be, because it's one of those things where, not that, I mean, if you're working, right, if you have a job, you're on LinkedIn, well, then obviously you could buy a home probably, depending on what you're doing. So you do have an audience that's there, but are you friends with all those people? Are they going to reach out to call you? Is that recruiter working in Phoenix, or is he working? You know what I mean? So it's a different type of platform versus, say, I think Facebook has, much like problems as people give it because it's the old people platform, right? But that's where people are really truly like interacting with their friends more, especially the older crowd. We see a picture of the kids. So all of that stuff on Facebook is much more, I'm now operating in my sphere. So if there's a place, if I'm a realtor or I'm a mortgage loan officer, that I would think would be more beneficial to spend my time and efforts on, a Facebook or even really an Instagram would be a better spot than say maybe TikTok or LinkedIn, even though I do think TikTok is different type of thing. If I'm just specifically wanting to sell a house or wanting to my friends to use me for their mortgage, then I think those two platforms are probably more geared towards that because of the type of interaction that people have. Would you agree with that?
I would, yeah. So I think of a couple examples of loan officers that I work with, right? And actually a couple of realtors too. What I'm seeing is they're posting content about, their job, right? They're obviously posting, homes that they're listing and stuff like that. But the most successful content they have is the video of their son at a basketball tournament.
Yes.
Right.
The personal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best videos I've seen is one of the realtors says, "Hey, I'm listing a house here in Gilbert, Arizona. This is why you should move to Gilbert." And she walks down Old Town Gilbert and shows all the restaurants and she's not even talking about the home. She's talking about the area, right?
Yeah.
So you should become you are the professional. You are the expert of your area.
Yeah.
Right. If you live in Dallas, Texas, you should talk way more about the things in Dallas, Texas that attract people to that home. Right. Because if I have a favorite taco shop, Velvet Taco in Dallas, I don't know if it's a great spot.
Yep.
That area is so cool. If I'm listing a home in that area, why would I talk about just that home?
Right.
Let me talk about the area. Become the expert of your community, not just the expert of the home that you're trying to list. Mm-hmm. Now, the content of, the drone flyovers and the walkthroughs of homes, they grab everyone's attention, man, especially if it's a super nice, really cool looking home.
Oh yeah. The $1 million homes everybody wants to see.
Everyone wants to see the $1 million home.
Yeah.
No one really cares about the $250,000 home, right?
No.
That has stains in the carpet and whatnot. Right. But
now maybe the $30,000 home that the walls are falling down, you might get murdered in. You might.
There you go. But here's the crazy thing. If I was trying to sell a $250,000 home in an area that's really cool, but the home's probably not the best, doing something like, "Hey, this is the home. Let me show you the area. There's a park down the street. There's a really nice elementary school." And like doing a video of all those places, like that's way more attractive to a family. I moved to the home that I lived in because there's a park down the street. There's a golf course nearby. And we liked the area. The house is great. Luckily, it's also in a really good area. But the reason I was attracted to it wasn't because the house had 5 bedrooms and it could fit my family. It was because down the street from me is a park. The last house I was in, we didn't have parks in my area. Yeah. And that was what attracted us. Right. And so,
especially because you have 2 young kids. So
I got 2 young kids. I got a 4 and a 2-year-old, and they go to the park every single day.
Yeah.
Right. And when they were 3 and 1, we didn't have a park within our area that we felt safe enough to go to.
Right.
And so my realtor did a really good job. And he does this with a lot of his clients is, let me show you the home, but on our way there, let me meet you at this donut shop. Let me meet you at this taco shop that's really good in the area. We met up at the taco shop and then we drove to the different houses. Right. So we showed the area before we actually saw the house. And you could do that in your videos, show the area, show the house, and just do it all in one 35, 45-second video, short clips of the local farmers market to really draw the attention, not just to the home, but to the community around it.
Yeah. The house is a part of it, but it's not the feature. There's all kinds of pieces that go into it. Mm-hmm. On the topic of what types of content, because you were talking about, don't just focus on the home, focus on the area. I kind of know the answer to this, but I want to hear you say it too, is, when you see the realtor or the lender post something about, "Hey, I've been in the business for 20 years and I take great care of my clients. Here's my phone number. If you want to buy or sell your house, call me tomorrow." Right. Or call me today. How do those do?
I mean, they're not the worst thing you could post.
At least you're doing something, right?
You're doing something, right? You're getting your name out there. I've been in the business for 20 years. Well, if we look at realtors and we look, I mean, the average age is what, like 55 plus,
Something
right?
like that. Yeah.
They've all been in the industry for 20 years.
Yep.
So what really differentiates you?
Yeah.
And the big thing, and what I see of successful realtors and successful loan officers, the way they differentiate themselves from others is they talk about other things.
Yes.
They don't just sit and talk about, yep, I'm a loan officer. Yep, I'm a realtor. Oh, what else are you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you? And so the reason I went with my realtor originally, he was in a band. He
Okay.
has a kid the same age as my kid.
Okay.
Right? He's a big hunter, and I hunt too. And he also loves baseball. I grew up playing baseball.
Yeah.
I'm a big hunter.
Yeah.
We connected on so many other things
Yes.
outside of, yes, I needed him to buy a house.
Sure.
But I could have used anyone to buy a house.
Yeah.
I wanted to use him because I connected with him on multiple other things.
Right.
And so I see a lot of success when realtors and loan officers talk about the other things that make them who they are. This is a personal business.
Yes.
It is the largest, for most, the largest expense that they'll ever do. And they're not calling just anyone. They want to talk to someone that they can trust. And the more you connect with that person, the more you can trust that person. And so, yeah, it's great that you've been in the business for 20 years. You know what you're talking about, right? But how else can I connect with you? How else can you and I, because I don't know about you, you probably get this a lot. I was calling my loan officer probably like 4 times a week, asking questions, doing all this. And instead, I would have one question, but then he would be like, "Hey, did you watch the football game on Sunday?"
Yeah.
Right. And we would have a longer conversation about how bad the Arizona Cardinals are and how good the San Francisco 49ers are, right? My team.
Yeah.
And then, but he had already answered my question and we were just chatting, right? Like you and I, we're just chatting now. And we could have this conversation because right before this call, we connected on a couple of other things, kids, 4th of July and what we talked about. And so it's way nicer. It's just like, it just feels way different. Like we would be friends.
It's personal.
Yeah. It's very personal.
Yeah.
If you just talk about personal things.
Yeah.
I don't care if you've been in, I would rather go with someone it's their first transaction ever. They're trying to do everything they can, but he and I connect, or she and I connect on a different level.
Well, and we talked about this before we came on, but the authenticity of it, right? Because you're dealing, the person that you're dealing with, because we all experience in life, when you come across somebody that you meet and you meet them and they talk to you and you go, I don't think that's who you really are. I think you're putting on some sort of you're putting on an air, you're trying to be something or whatever. And I'm not buying it. And this is all going on in my head. Obviously you're not going to be like, you're full of shit, but you're going to sit there and go, okay, sure. And you kind of put this person in a box and you're like, well, whatever that person says, I'm not going to really put much stock into it because the feeling I get from them is that they're not being authentic with me. So I'm going to kind of discount everything they're saying versus some of my favorite people that I know are wild ass. I mean, they are off the rails, like crazy individuals, but they are themselves. Like they are who they are. And you know exactly what you're going to get when you go spend time with that person. There's no surprises as far as like who they're going to be. And I think that's where some of the deepest relationships are had, is because you may not agree with everything that somebody says or what everybody stands for, but if you know they are who they are, you're like, hey man, I like you for what you are. Like, I don't need any of the other stuff. And I think the real estate, and because like you said, it is such a personal transaction because it's something that you're only going to do a few times in your life. And you want to know that the realtor and the loan officer are there looking out for your best interest to make sure that you're taken care of, regardless if they've done 500 transactions or they've done 2. If you feel like they're thinking of you and everything that they do, then you're going to have much more trust and security in that relationship, in that situation, than if you thought someone was just trying to sell you and you were just another number in a transaction, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think something to note is 97% of home buyers start their search online. Yeah. Right. They start their search online. And the younger those home buyers get, the more they're going to look at social media. Yeah. I decided not to go with the loan officer. I had 2. My realtor gave me a referral for 2, right? And I looked up one nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. No,
No reviews, no
no,
videos,
no
no
review. Well, they had like a website,
uh-huh.
but like no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, like no YouTube channel. Not, and I was like, who is this person? Because their website just was like, it's kind of cold. Like, oh, this person went to University of Arizona, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then the other loan officer had an Instagram. Was it great? No, but they posted once a week. They were big they were a big football fan. They they had a son who just graduated college,
Yeah.
And I'm younger, so I could relate to him. Hey, I graduated college a couple of years ago myself, and so I went with him, not because he had the best social media presence, but I was able to connect with him before I even spoke with him on the phone.
Yeah.
And I could bring up, hey, I saw your son just graduated. What did he graduate in? Oh, finance. Oh, that's cool. That's what I graduated in, right? And he and I now have a really good relationship. And his son actually did my second loan, who graduated in finance. Like we connected, and he and I connected so much more because we were closer in age, same interests. And so I think it's just, you said it, authenticity is key.
Yeah.
If you're going to do anything on social media, just be who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Post. If you're not all about video, don't post video. If you don't like the way you look, okay, post images, but engage, right? Engage with people. Social media, there's so many different routes you can go to be successful on social media, but you can't be successful on social media if you don't do it. And if you aren't doing it, you're missing out on a massive gold mine of leads.
Well, and I think that's a good point you made about what you did, because I think everybody does that for the most part, is they go to, if I'm given, if I'm looking for a plumber and somebody says, hey, use this plumbing service. Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is not pick up the phone and call them. Mm-hmm. The first thing I'm going to do is go find them online. Do they have a website? Do they have, whatever? And it's because I want to get some information about this person before I deem the fact on whether or not I'm going to call them. Now, I got a warm lead from a friend because I was like, hey, how many people know plumbers, or how many people know car mechanics or whatever? But then I'm going to go look for them. I'm going to go see if I can find them. And if I can find them, great. And if I can't, then I'm like, And like you said, if I've got 3 people and I can find 2 of them online to some version or another, and I can't find the other one at all, I'm certainly not using the one I can't find. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to find them, or I'm not going to use them. They could be a great human being, but I don't know that because I can't locate them anywhere. Yeah. And the other 2 I can find, and then it becomes, who do I feel like I match better with, personality wise or interests or whatever.
That's when you bring in the phone calls, and that's when you talk to them, right?
Yeah. But you need that social media or that online validation before you decide to do business with people. I think it's very important.
And I think, this isn't something for realtors, or loan officers, but I had to get a new AC unit, and I saw an ad on TikTok about a new AC unit from a specific company. And I saved myself 15 grand on an AC unit, 2 AC units, because I saw their ad on TikTok, right? Yeah. I wouldn't have gone with them if I didn't see their ad on TikTok. And so sometimes I'll even Google things that I want to talk about, or things that I want to buy, in hopes that an ad comes on my Instagram, an ad comes on my Facebook, because most of the time you can save a lot of money by just going through social media and clicking on the links there rather than going directly to their website.
You're engineering your social media to serve a purpose.
Give me an ad. Come on, save me some money.
Well, it's funny. So I had Ali Cardi on. I'm sure you've seen her on LinkedIn because we all kind of there. And I didn't realize she was talking about going to an area and looking up, like a restaurant, for example, looking up on TikTok to see the inside of the restaurant, to see, people, what they're eating and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I've never even considered, I use Yelp. I'll go to Yelp and I'll see what the reviews are or whatever. But am I the old guy now? Because
TikTok is the way to go for that.
It blew my mind. I was like, really? Like, you go to TikTok? It's like, every city we go to, if I want to go eat somewhere,
every Friday, when I take my wife out every Friday for dinner, we go to TikTok and we say best Mexican food in Gilbert, Arizona. And we look at the top 3 videos and we choose one of the 3. And you find some amazing hole in the wall stuff that you'd never find on Yelp, because they're not on Yelp, right? They're on TikTok. And it's not even the company posting about it. It's someone who's like, dude, this was a great place to be. I took a video of it. Boom, that's where we go. And so I use TikTok a lot for, finding hole in the wall places, best, this tomorrow I have a lunch that I'm going to, we wanted to have like an Italian sub. So there's not many places like in New York that have Italian subs here in Phoenix Valley. Right. And so you just look it up on TikTok, and I was able to find one. The guy came straight from New York. He was talking about it 3 years ago. He came to Arizona. Like, he got out of New York from the pandemic, and that's what he does. Italian subs. I'm like, I'm in. I'm willing to try this. If he just, just hearing his story. And so that's just the power of video. That's the power of social media, is you can get your message out there. You can be found, and you can see the influx of leads. You can get your message out there way easier through video to an audience that probably wouldn't see you otherwise.
Well, and I think that's where you guys play such a big role in stuff like this as a company, because, we always tell people within our company, do what you're good at and outsource what you're not good at. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you are, a regular video poster and you love editing and you love coming up with creative ways to do, okay, great. Do that. Right. But if I want to go meet people at restaurants. I want to go to networking events. I want to be around, I want to do flyer, do that, but then outsource the need, which is the social media side of things, the video, to get started, because you have to be there. There isn't hey, this is a good place to get business. You have to be there. And I think that's been the whole point of what we've been talking about. Is it's not that video isn't, I don't think video is really an option anymore. If you want to be relevant and you want to be impactful in your market, you have to do it. Mm-hmm. So then it becomes, okay, how do I do it? Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not good at it or you don't want to spend the time learning it, well, then you need to outsource that to a company like Social Coach that can walk you through the steps. Now, you may get to a point, somebody may be with you for a year or two, and they may be like, look, I really like this. I think I want to do it on my own. I think I can figure this out or whatever. Great. But you got to get started down that road. And sometimes it's no different. Like the name of the company, Social Coach, you're coaching people on how to do video, the effective ways to do it, how to be consistent. And I think that is needed. And it just because you're scared of going through the process of posting doesn't mean you don't need to do it. You absolutely have to do it. And if you can't, or you don't feel comfortable, then you need to outsource it to somebody like you guys.
Yeah. And we get a lot of those that, hey, I'm good, man. I'm closing 10 loans a month. Like things are rocking. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing on social media? No, dude, it's all referrals. I'm like, could you take more? Would you want more? Yeah. Of course, especially right now. It's a famine, right? Everyone wants as much as they can get right now. And so turning on a quick little video production team that's there to help you at a low cost and literally $0 entry with your equipment. You just need your phone. Yeah. It makes it so much easier for loan officers who feel like they can't afford like a $2,000 a month kind of production team to do it. They can come and use Social Coach, get high quality videos at the lowest cost there is on the market, and be able to utilize that on their social media for their own success.
Yeah, especially if you're a realtor or you're a mortgage professional and you're looking for somebody that's like, hey, because that's been the thing that I've run into because the editing part of what we do is the hardest part. And I don't think anybody realizes that until you actually start making videos. Yeah. Making the video isn't that tough. It's editing it and putting it together, however you choose to do that, and then posting it. And that's the most time consuming thing. Well, if I take a raw video and I send it to, let's say I use Fiverr, right, which I've used before, and I find some editing person on Fiverr and I send them the video and I go, here's kind of what I want. I'll get it back and it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's not bad, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted because they don't really understand what I'm saying, or they don't really understand the point of that video was to talk about closing costs, or because they're not doing mortgages or they're not doing real estate. So they don't really know. Whereas somebody like you guys, because that's your niche, if I send you a video about mortgages or something related to it, you're going to know exactly what I'm trying to say and put together a much better edited version of that than if I use some random person online.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's important. Like you said, if you need to outsource, go ahead and outsource. Like don't feel shame in doing that. Because once you put it all together and you really see how social media can really boost your business, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Ben, we're right at an hour now, so these things go by quickly whenever we do it this long, but it goes fast. So I really appreciate you coming on and kind of walking through some of this stuff. Again, like we said in the beginning, video is not an option anymore. You have to do it. You don't necessarily have to do it well, but you have to start and you have to try to be consistent with it. And just doing that will get you to the point where you do it well. But
Yeah.
but if you're not in a place where you feel like you're capable of doing that yet, or you need to learn, then company like Social Coach is a great place to reach out to, get your feet wet, get started. It's not as bad as you think it's going to be. It's going to help your business a ton. You'll get that positive feedback loop, people calling you back saying, hey, I saw your video today. It was great. Even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter. People are nice. They're going to reciprocate. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's really the best way to get in front of your sphere. You don't have to go viral. You just need to stay in front of the people that you sell to on a regular basis. So.
Yep, you said it better than I could. So thanks, Mike, for having me on. It's a great to be able to talk to your audience and show them, hey, social media is important, video is easy, and we're here to help.
What's the best way to reach out to you guys to find the services and costs and everything for what y'all do?
If you're really looking to do Social Coach Video Catalyst, check us out, socialcoach.io, not socialcoach.com. That's actually a dating guru in Australia. Socialcoach.io, or you can always reach out to me via LinkedIn, social media. We're online. Obviously,
I'm sure they can find your videos somewhere, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So go ahead and check us out, and looking forward to hearing from everyone.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Everybody have a great weekend. Hope the 4th of July was fun, and we're coming up on the weekend right away now too. So we'll see you next week.